Hello there, and welcome back to Real Time, where we talk about the movies we like.
And the ones we don't.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Molly.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about a recent Christmas movie that I think is going to become a classic in the near future. 2023's The Holdovers.
Yes, it might be one that we watch every year now.
I think so. Now, The Holdovers is about it's about a group of students who gets held over during the Christmas holidays while they're at their boarding school. But when all but one of them gets to get out of it, our last remaining student gets stuck with a teacher that he absolutely hates. And to be fair, the teacher doesn't really like to be there either. But they're stuck with each other, so they have to make the best of a bad situation.
Yep. Which, a lot of things unfold and it turns into a very wholesome movie to watch.
Yes, it does. All right, so this movie stars Paul Giamatti as Paul Hunnam, the teacher we talked about who is hated by all of his students because, well, he's kind of a pain in the ass. He's very strict, very stern to these students who he sees them all as just being a bunch of spoiled rich pricks, which, to be fair, some of them are. But he gets his mind changed when he gets to spend some actual time around them, and finds out that, well, they have their own problems to worry about too.
Yeah, the teacher, he definitely starts out as a pretty big jerk. But, as the characters get to know each other, they grow and learn and become better people.
Yeah, to be fair, I was kind of on Hunnam's side at the beginning of the movie because you see these rich kids at this boarding school, and you just think that they're all going to be a bunch of brats. But yeah, like he gets told later on, they have their own problems to deal with too, and it's really fun to get to know them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, Dominic Sessa plays Angus Tully, the student who gets held over with Hunnam. Tully is, he gets held over. He has to stay over during winter break because his mom takes this opportunity to go on a honeymoon with her new husband. Yeah, she decides to dump him here because, well, we'll get to that later. But he's not having a great time, and he has to stay over when all the other kids get to leave, the ones who are being held over, I mean, because his parents can't be reached. Yeah, typical.
Yeah, we see that his parents seem to be maybe a little selfish, but I mean, to be fair, we don't really know them that well, but we do see that Tully has he's struggling. He doesn't feel very loved, so he does have his problems.
Yeah. Divine Joy Randolph plays Mary Lamb in a role that she won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for this role. She plays the manager of the school cafeteria who just lost her son in Vietnam, so she's trying to deal with these complicated emotions while in the middle of the Christmas season.
Yep, definitely hard. I think she definitely deserved the Oscar for this role.
Yes, she did. And even still, throughout all of Mary's difficulties in her own life, she still finds the time to tell Hunnam to, well, stop being a piece of crap and be good to these students because they need it more than ever.
Yeah, maybe that's her motherly instincts coming out. She knows that these boys feel left out. Their parents aren't there to be with them. They're not with family, so she helps them calm down.
Yes, they do. And these are our main players for this movie. We have some other character actors who all do good jobs, such as Carrie Preston as Miss Lydia Crane, the secretary of the headmaster at um, at the school that they work at, who Hunnam has a bit of a crush on, but he finds out that she's actually seeing someone. But that's just another in a long line of disappointments for Hunnam.
Yeah, poor guy.
So, now this was a movie that when I started seeing ads for it, I was interested. Seemed like a seemed like an interesting story to watch unfold. And from the outset, at the start of the movie, maybe you think that this movie's going to be about a group of kids who all hate each other or don't know each other, who have to learn how to get along and get to like each other during this time when they're stuck together. But then it turns into something else about halfway through, with just the one kid staying over with his teacher that he hates. And I feel like that change turned it into something that was a lot better than what it was shaping out to be.
Yeah, it kind of surprises you with that. I mean, if you don't know what the movie's about, which is nice because I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So Tully, for one, he has, his father's in a bad shape mentally. He's stuck in this asylum, and for all intents and purposes, to his mother, he might as well be dead. So what his mom's trying to do is she's trying to basically forget about her old life, meaning her ex-husband, and to an extent her son, so that she could just live a new life with her brand spanking new husband and just forget about it all. That's why she keeps him at this boarding school and doesn't want to see him, and why she's unreachable during the Christmas season, and why she's so willing to send him to military school.
Yeah, definitely not the best parent.
Yeah, I hope bad things happen to her, and I hope she has a very bad day because she deserves it. That old witch.
Wow.
That's my interpretation of it, at least. Now, you can also make the argument that Tully is not exactly the easiest kid to deal with. But I'm willing to cut him some slack because we actually get to see some of his issues unfold. We get to see his how he's grappling with his father's lack of mental state, how he's dealing with depression in his own right, because we see that he and Hunnam are both on the same sort of medication for depression.
Yeah, that's a nice little tidbit that the movie includes. Mr. Hunnam realizes that, they're both going through similar things.
Yeah, I feel like that really helps soften Hunnam towards Tully. Makes him see that, he's just like me, because Hunnam went to the same school too, and he's just back at it again. It's just teaching there because he got kicked out of Harvard for running over another student who accused him of plagiarism. So he didn't have a lot of prospects in life after he got kicked out of Harvard. So now he's just back doing what he feels most comfortable doing.
Yep. I mean, I guess it's a familiar place, so he feels good being there.
Yeah, this is the guy who's never really ventured outside the town that the school is right next to. So the school is kind of a prison for him, but it's like a prison that he feels safe in, sort of like someone who's been institutionalized.
Yeah, it's something familiar, so he doesn't want to leave.
And I feel like that provides a good story arc and the like for Hunnam. I feel like he's a very interesting character. You get why he's a bitter old fart, but you also both feel sorry for him and kind of dislike him in equal measures. It's weird to explain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But you feel the same way towards Tully, because yeah, he is going through a lot, but still, he is also kind of a pain in the ass too.
Yes, he can be.
Which, speaking of which, this was Dominic Sessa's first movie role ever. This was his debut. The he was going to the school that the movie was shooting at the time, and Paul Giamatti went to bat for him to director Alexander Payne to convince him to hire this kid, and I must say he did a fantastic job.
Yep, he sure did.
Yeah, he's going to be playing Anthony Bourdain in a biopic of him, and while I don't think that Anthony Bourdain really needs a biopic, I'm willing to watch it if Dominic Sessa is going to be playing him because the kid is talented. I want to see what he does in the future.
Yep, lots of potential.
So Hunnam also has a lazy eye in the movie, which Tully points out because he's trying to figure out which one he's supposed to look at to, be polite, look the guy in the eye when you're talking to him. That was actually Paul Giamatti's idea, and it made him basically blind in that one eye where he wore a special contact lens for it.
Oh, wow. That sounds annoying.
I'm sure it was, but you know what? Paul Giamatti is nothing if not a professional. He is one of my favorite actors, and it's kind of funny to imagine that like 20 years ago I was watching him in Big Fat Liar, and now he's multiple Oscar nominated actor Paul Giamatti. He's incredible. I love him.
Yeah.
Now, Divine Joy Randolph also wore her grandma's glasses in the movie. The ones that she wore. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Let's see. So, in the scene where Hunnam and Tully are in the liquor store, where he's talking about how he got expelled from Harvard, the guy who played the liquor store clerk actually owned the store.
Nice.
Let's see. Okay, so this was originally pitched as a TV series set in the modern day, but Alexander Payne suggested a period piece in either 1958 or 1970, but they went with 1970 so that they could avoid being too similar to Dead Poets Society.
Yeah, there are some similarities with Dead Poets Society.
Which I feel like the similarities with that are only they're really only skin deep because it takes place at a boarding school. That's it.
Yeah, it involves a teacher and a student, stuff like that.
They also considered shooting it on film to make it look more like a 70s film, but they went with digital because it's a lot more practical. However, if you look closely at the screen while the movie's playing, you can see a grain and spots in which the parts of the film the scene like circles where it goes black to simulate like old film reel burns that would have been in films from the era. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That plus the 1970s era logos and copyright warnings at the beginning and the end. It's really authentic. It feels more, this feels like a more immersive movie set in the 70s.
Yeah.
And the screenwriter, David Hemingson, based some of the events in the movie on his own life.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Specifically, the scene with the prostitute, and that happened to his uncle, and the scene with the Cherries Jubilee when they went to the restaurant and the Karen waitress wouldn't let them get it because Tully is underage, even though the alcohol would just burn off. That also happened with him and his mother.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is a very, very cozy movie. It feels real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And, well, I feel like it actually, I realize another similarity to Dead Poets Society that it has. So spoiler alert. But at the end of the movie, Hunnam basically takes the bullet for Tully so that he could stay at the school, because if he got in trouble one more time, he was going to get sent to a military school, and he gets fired as a result, which happens in a similar way in Dead Poet Society.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I also feel like this will be helpful for Hunnam, because he's going to be able to actually see the things that he's been teaching about. He gets to see the world that he wanted to really exist in his whole life, but he never got a chance to, because he was stuck, partially by choice, in the school where he felt home.
Yeah. He gets to go write his book and experience new things and move on.
Yeah, and we get to see that Mary is starting to move on from her son's death, and just I love her so much. She's my favorite character in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a really good character.
You know, even though she's facing probably just as much, if not more, hardships as anyone else in the movie, she still finds it in her to be a positive and helpful person in everyone's life. It's really nice to see.
Yes, it is.
So that will do it for us. Unless you have anything more to say on this.
No, I think obviously if you haven't seen it yet, you do need to give it a chance. It's nice. It's got a lot of good Christmassy vibes, so maybe watch it this Christmas season.
Do it. Although when this video goes up, it'll be Christmas Day, but still check it out.
Yeah, you could still the day after Christmas too. It's okay.
Yeah, we watched it in January earlier this year, prepare for the Oscars. So, just go do it.
Yeah, do it.
That'll do it for us. We'll catch you later.
See you next time.